What's the first day like in CYA for an active gang member?
It's really like your adrenaline's pumping. Your adrenaline's pumping. All right. So in the halls, in juvenile hall, especially in LA, I don't know about any other. I can't speak for any other halls, but in LA County juvenile halls, you walk with your hands behind your back. You walk with the assistance of a staff member, and it's like everything is very controlled. When I got to YA, as soon as I got there, I get off the bus, they put me in like a holding cage, and that shit was a trip, man. Like, and bars and everything. I'm like, oh fuck, like, this is some real gangster shit right here, right? And it was a trip because a bus pulled up, LA County Jail. I was like, oh shit, fools are coming from the county. Like, this is some real hardcore shit right here. And so fool comes in. I remember it was, well, he walks in, and I was like, I said, where you from, homie? And he's like, from Monteflores. I was like, oh shit. Like, I was like, Monteflores. So it was my homie little Ralph. He ended up getting 20 years, but he was a minor. And they were holding him in the county. I guess they had the juvenile ward at the time. They're holding him in the county, so he's gonna do a little bit of time at YA before he comes to the adult, and then we're gonna ship him off to the joint. So like I was just telling this fool, like, I'm gonna get my ride off, and he was like, man, I'm on some other shit. Well, I got 20 fucking years, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to see what happens when I get to the joint. I ain't tripping about this YA shit. And so just when you get there, it's like your adrenaline's pumping. Everything that you see, like, on TV and movies, it's really gangster. Like, that shit happens. Like, they give you blues. They give you blue pants, like fucking, and no jumpsuits. Like, you wear blue pants, give you a pair of shorts, right? You get your own fucking, you got your box, and then you got there, you gotta take a mug shot, boom, with your last name, the first initial. I'm not sure it's your full name, I forgot, but your YA number on the bottom. I was like, oh shit, I got a YA number now. Like, that's just crazy. I got a number, right? So just, I'm telling you dumb shit that a little kid would think, right? So then I remember when I went to the infirmary to do all that. I'm in the in SR. There's like kind of like infirmary control center kind of thing, right? And then after that, they open the door. They're like, go to your unit. And I was like, oh shit, I wasn't used to walking by myself. So I was like, walk by myself, and they guys stayed there. They're like, yeah, you ain't a little boy, we're gonna hold your fucking hand. I was like, oh shit, dope, right? So I'm walking through, and there's everybody in SR shares the yard. So everybody shares the yard. So you have a gang of people out there. You can't mingle with other yards, but you could see them, right? So I'm walking through, and I'm just like, man, this is so fucking gangster. I was holding my box. I'm just like, Monteflores, and I get to the room. So they get to the room, the door opens, and they shut the door. The staff walks away, and I tell her, well, where you from, mommy? The roommate, right? I have a crazy white boy, San Diego. That's I tripped out, like, oh shit, we're in here with everybody from everywhere, right? And I told him, it's Monteflores. You got a problem with the raza? He's like, nah, I'm good. I was like, all right, cool. And after that, it's a trip because you meet people from everywhere. And that's when I was like, oh, this is the California Youth Authority. This is not the LA Youth. This is California. I catch from IE, from the OC, San Diego, from Oxnard, like all over the place. And when you get to Nellis or your other institutions, that's when you start seeing cats from like Oakland and Sacramento, Hayward, all kinds of places throughout California. So it was a trip. For me, it was just it was exciting. But that quickly becomes stale. All right. At first, it's all new. It's an adventure. But after a while, that shit becomes stale as fuck.
How hard was it for someone from Northern California to be in YA in Whittier? Or was it hard for them?
It depends. If they were, when I was there weren't any Nortenos there, right? So that had been something. Events had happened before I even got there that prevented that from happening. So if anyone from Northern California, it'd be like cats from the Bay, like the Bay Area, and they that was amongst like the brothers to handle. That was for them, right? The Bloods and Crips, they didn't trip on the Bay. They're cool, whatever, right? So they handled it their way. So we didn't trip, right? A lot of cats from the Bay were the cool as fuck. Like I'm telling you, these motherfuckers are real cool, and they used to be cracking up. Like, what up, folks? And they, just the way they did things and the way they joked, and I was just like, man, these motherfuckers are trippy, right? Like, cause I'm not used to. I'm from LA County, so we're used to a certain get down. What up, cuz? What up, blood? You know what I mean? Like we're used to that. So when you see cats from like the Bay Area, they have a whole different way of doing things. It's just a trip, right? So we would just trip out like that. These fools are wild. They're with the shit though. You know, like, and that's why one thing I think a misconception people have, like, oh, we're harder over here, we're harder over. You got riders everywhere, right? You got riders everywhere. So yeah, but and otherwise, if for Chicanos, if there were Chicanos from up north, then a lot of times they were Southsiders, right? So and it was cool. Like I knew a gang of Southsiders from up north, upstate Southsiders, and they were cool as fuck. You know, like one of my boys that I be from Mountain View, cool as fuck. You know, that was a homie right there. So now it wasn't nothing like. I'd say it was in a way, it could be a little harder for them at times because a lot of us from certain counties, especially like LA County, we came up with each other. We all knew each other from the halls, from the streets, and from fucking camp or whatever. So they all knew each other. We all knew each other. And if you come from like, let's say Mountain View, California, and you come to Nellis, it's like, who's this Vato? Who knows him? And nobody really knows him, right? So that would be the hard part. The easier part though, for them would be most of their gangbanging was with Nortenos. So if you're from East LA, for example, you have rivals all over the place. So you have a gang of motherfuckers you gotta fight, right? Whereas if you're from somewhere far, you don't really have a lot of people that you have to get down with. But that didn't mean that they didn't, right? Like my boys, they would still get their ride on for different shit. But out the gate, they didn't have to.
You have a video titled "Mind Games" in CYA. Can you break that one down too?
Yes, CYA was a lot of mind games, a lot, and I won't even say just Nellis. This is everywhere, everywhere. Why Basso, Preston, OH, YTS, Chad, everywhere you went, there were mind games. There were cats who were a little bit more sophisticated than other cats, right? And you get something simple, like, hey, I'm just gonna bring something to your attention, right? Like, hey, I seen Dusty do this, and like, let's say for example, I seen him drop the soap real quick, not wash it off, and just start using that shit. What do you think about that, G? Well, I think that's lever. Go tell him. You spoke on it now, right? It's like, I just asked you a question, right? I didn't say Dusty was lever. Like, right? Like, I actually give Dusty the benefit of the doubt. I think I think Dusty's a righteous individual. This was over here calling him a lever, right? So it's like, now that cat, if he's with his shit, he's gonna have to get down with Dusty, and he's gonna have to get down with you for putting him on the spot, right? And there's other things where they'll bag you up. They're gonna go in there and they're gonna take your shit, and they want to see what you're gonna do. A lot of times they're gonna see in YA, they're gonna see how much they can get away with. They're gonna try to push you and until they can't anymore, until you push back, or until you just tap out, and then they're done. The game's over. Fuck this guy. He's a fucking lame. He's a square. Let's just take his shit and do all that, right? So there's a lot of mind games on there. A lot of things. You have to watch what you say. You have to watch how you act, and there's a lot of favoritism. So if you've been there for a while, you could get away with a lot more than somebody who just rose up. They'll shoot at you. Like, there's so much going on. It's all in the mind, though. It's all in the mind a lot of the times. But it sucks because you're catching time at the same time. So it's like, I'm going to be down for mine. I ain't going out like that. All right, cool, but good luck going home. You ain't going home. And that's one thing you can't do when you're a Y. Worry about going home. Yeah, just don't worry about that shit. I'll get home when I get home.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a lot of mind games, a lot of just people trying to see where you're at, what they can get away with. There's a lot of like coattail riding motherfuckers. There were a lot of them, a lot of cats who seen Dusty was the big dog, right? So I'm gonna chill with Dusty. What's up, Dusty? It's like, you're just chilling with Dusty because you know he got a little something, right? And Dusty at that point will have the opportunity to tell you, hey, go do this, go do that. And you're gonna do it because you want to please Dusty and shit. You want to make sure that you're still on his on his good side, right? So you have a lot of cats who will take advantage of that. You have a lot of other cats who just be like, fuck that shit, I'm gonna do my own thing. And it's all, like I said, it's all in the mind. There's a lot going on where you have to just kind of know. You have to know, I know where this is going. And boom, that's the main thing. The main thing is just, as soon as you have a feeling where it's going, and you know, like, don't explain shit. Don't try to explain yourself. Don't back yourself into a corner. Back then, the best thing to do is just take flight. Just take flight and talk about it after. And it's better that you got down with him and you guys have a civil discussion afterwards. Like, oh, I thought you were trying to do this. Oh, my bad. I was just trying to do this. All right, cool. It's better to have that discussion than him saying, I did this, and he didn't react. Right? Because now you're going to have to, if he has people on his side, what's going to happen is you're going to have all those cats coming around. That's just leva. Next thing you know, instead of you just getting down with this one guy, now you have to get down with 6 or 7 guys. And it's like, just handle that shit from the beginning. If you felt a certain way, just swing. That's what I always thought. I'm not gonna take any chances. Fuck it. I'm swinging. And that's it.
Just give me a little bit of peace, steady job and some food to eat. Just give me a little bit of peace, steady job and some food to eat. Just give me a little bit of peace.